the Polestar 2. Being billed as the Tesla 3 competition, obviously styling is key in this market. It's really important for a fully electric model to punch a little bit above its weight when it comes to styling. So what do you think at this? Take a look. Well, it is a very nice, new, bold look. So that's obviously not immediately going to be to everybody's taste. This square grille is very distinctive. Once we come around to the side, things really start to change up a bit, and we lose a little bit of that sports car feel and head more into the area of a crossover. As you can see here, we've got plastic trim that really emphasizes the multi-utility kind of aspect of this car. Look at the size of these wheels. They're really setting and framing off the side nicely. As we come further back, we have a lot more bulk and heft than you expect from looking at the front. This is not at all sleek and minimalistic, but it does make a very impressive statement. There's a lot of solidness to that car, and I think that speaks very highly to the Volvo heritage that it comes from. Once you're round at the back, you really can see how a lot of those lines that you usually only associate with the concept have managed to stay right through to the full production model. This is a very distinctive light signature that runs throughout the back, and it really does set off the styling here. Now, I can see that that might not be to everybody's taste, but it is new, modern, contemporary in its feel. Look at this. Now, that looks really stylish, but you do have to consider how's that going to feel in the middle of winter. But don't worry, they already thought of that. Once the full production models come out, you will have contactless entry to the rear. Once you get into the rear, you can see that despite the batteries that the car is packing, there is a more than sufficiently sized, it's an electric motor, but it is fully enclosed, so we can't bring you any great pictures of it. But needless to say, you do get a little bonus storage up here as well. What is powering this thing is a 78 kilowatt hour battery. That's giving it a mile range of approximately 275 miles. If that doesn't sound amazing, that's because don't forget they changed the standards. According to the old rules, that would have been closer and comparable to a 500 kilometer range. It's all-wheel drive, it produces 408 horsepower, and it will do 0 to 100 in 4.7 seconds. It also kicks out 660 Newton meters of torque. So, it's going to give you a fair amount of bang for your buck. Still a bit sad we can't take a look at the motor. Let's take a closer look inside. Well, I think the first two things that really occur to you when you start looking at the interior of the Polestar 2 is how important it has been to express quality of material within the finish of this vehicle. This is the first car from a major mainstream manufacturer to be advertised as vegan, and that's a really significant step. Whether you're interested in that or not, it's very interesting to see how sustainability is starting to become something that manufacturers will commodify and take advantage of. For me personally, I'm always enthusiastic to see sustainability baked in wherever it can have any support. And these seats, I think, are really great. Honestly, I don't think leather's the best material when you add into it, and you really have to, the way in which it's produced. You can see Volvo through and through. I know the Polestar is a separate entity. I understand that this being a fully electric car, it's a little bit different. But let's not forget, Volvo made a commitment that from 2019, they would not release a single vehicle that was not at least a hybrid. So this represents quite a bold statement about the future for the company as a whole. If that isn't a clear nod towards Tesla, I don't know what is. It's a large screen, and that's not to everybody's taste, but it does come with Android already baked into it. So you can get a very, a very familiar looking presentation here. Everything visually is very cleanly finished, and it all speaks to quality. Driving position is good. It's very low within the vehicle. I feel that the vehicle wraps around me in a very solid fashion. Headspace is good. I'm 5'10" or 178 centimeters, and look at this. Fully glass panoramic roof and a whole fist's worth of height at my head. So I'm very comfortable indeed. Let's take a look and see what's happening in the back. Well, I'm happy to say that that contemporary style and use of materials is continued back here as well. It's really nice to see the innovative approach. Now, you may or may not be aware, but this car is available in fully vegan outfitting. I know that that's not exactly on everybody's top priority list, but I can assure you that it is on Thomas's. So he is very, very excited about this car. And I think it's very nice to see a premium brand really start to take that market concern seriously. For a long time, we've heard from manufacturers that they just don't have access to the materials that will finish off to the same quality as leather. And that hasn't been true for a while, but it's really nice to see a premium car outfitted with something that looks this good. If Thomas gets up really close to the back of this seat, you can see how rugged that material is. That's really going to take a beating, and it's also really going to keep clean nicely. So what's the back experience like? Well, you get lots of echoes of the way that the front is finished, and you actually get a reasonable amount of space too. I'm 5'10" or 178 centimeters in height, and with a full panoramic roof, I still have plenty of headspace back here and acres of legroom. Look at that, plenty of comfort. The styling's unique, it's fresh, it's different, it's innovative, it's powerful. I think it's really quite a serious contender. So what do we think of the Polestar 2? Well, positives first. It's bold and it's innovative. Everything from the launch of this car to even the way it's being displayed here in Geneva feels fresh. And that's important, I think. This is a new market entrant, and it really is the first time we've seen a competitive car in this segment come along to really challenge Tesla's dominance. It certainly continues the conversation and takes it on somewhere a little bit further. So what's not so great? Well, I'm a little concerned about that price point. I think it's reasonable to be higher, obviously. It's a premium brand. We have a different product. It's a different approach to market. But is it enough to justify a third hike in terms of retail? I don't know. And that starting price of $59, well, that is a big hurdle, I think. But the advantage is that the people who are going to want this car are just going to want it, irrespective of what it costs. I absolutely see a future for this as a fleet vehicle. I think more and more we're going to start to see companies investing in either fully electric or at the very least hybrid fleets. This is every bit smart enough to make any sales rep feel happy pulling up outside any of their clients. It's going to look great, it's going to drive great, and it's certainly going to reinforce the message that that company wants to demonstrate. So I think that that represents a significant early bulk of sales for this manufacturer. In terms of its personal application, well, my only concern would be price point. I think from my point of view, from this year's Geneva show, for me, it's all about the fully electric Peugeot 208. That really is mass market appeal. This is a little bit more niche, and not everyone is going to be prepared to cough up that kind of money for this experience. But I'm liking the fresh approach. I'm liking the fact that we're changing the conversation about how these goods are coming to market and how we're relating to them. And I'm also liking the fact that we are starting to see more exciting, more dynamic new cars coming out in electric offerings. Well, that's my take on it, but what do you think? If you have any comments or questions on what you've seen, please pop them below. Please subscribe, and we hope we'll see you all again soon.